What's up, everybody? I got this in the mail today. It's a leveling kit for my 2013 F350 Superduty. This one's made by Bilstein. It has 2 front coil springs and then 2 Bilstein 5100 shock absorbers. So I'll be doing an installation video on how to install this on my truck. I believe this works for model years 2005 to 2016. I'm not sure if the 2017 and 2018 Superduty kits are any different. And I know that there's a few videos out there, but I just wanted to post mine and share it. So bought this from Stage 3 Motorsports, and I ordered it on Thursday, and it came in on today's Monday. And you get 2 coil springs, Bilstein. You should lift it about 2.5 inches, and these are just the shocks, so pretty basic. This kit did not come with like brake line extension brackets or brake line bracket relocation brackets, or like sway bar drop brackets or anything like that, or any caster shims. But from what I've read online, you probably, I don't know if you really need it or not. If I need it, I'll find somewhere to order it. But as far as the caster shims go, the alignment shop that I'm taking it to after I install this said that they have them in stock. They're like 30 bucks a piece, so not a big deal. We'll get the truck all set up and we'll jump right into it. So the first thing I'm going to do is measure the front to see how much lift we actually get after installing the kit. So from the ground to the bottom of the wheel well, it's 41 inches in the front. And in the rear, we're looking at almost 43.25. So it should be hopefully getting at least 2.25 inches, or at the most 2.25 inches out of this leveling kit. So the first step is to raise the truck up and get some jack stands underneath the frame. I went behind the control arm under the frame. These are 6-ton jacks, and they're pretty big, and I still had to use wooden blocks underneath. And I got some smaller jacks underneath the swing arm, or underneath the control arms, just in case something happens. And then I'll have even littler ones underneath the axle, just in case it decides to drop. But on the other side, the little bushing here on top of the spring is already starting to separate. So the suspension has a lot of, like, it falls down quite a bit with the truck all the way up in the air. So the next step is going to be to loosen the sway bar bolts here, and I think that's an 18mm socket. I started to break this loose, and as you can see, it's spinning. And even if you hold your hand here and turn the wrench, it still does not unthread. So I found that you need to use a 5/16 wrench right here, and that actually goes over the top, and then you can unbolt it and the threads will start to creep up. Kind of weird, but thought I should share that. After you've disconnected the sway bar and moved it up out of the way, you're going to need to remove this screw right here, this bolt right here, for the brake lines. And if you have wheel speed sensors on the opposite side, you're gonna need to remove those 2 bolts, as well as loosen up the cables there. So you actually do not have to remove these bolts for the wheel speed sensors, the ABS sensors. So I got this brake line bracket loosened, and I put the bolt back in, back into the shock body, just so I don't lose it. But it does look like when this drops down a couple of inches, this is going to have a lot of stress on it. But this right here appears to be a clip, and I think I could, because there's nothing on the back side here, I think I can remove this, take this out, and then turn it upside down to give me some extra space, so this way, instead of this pointing up, it points down. So I'm gonna try that and see if that. Okay, so I'll show you how I did this. The bracket was like this, And then underneath the bracket, this hose was pointing towards the top. Well, this clip is in kind of like this, except for instead of it being on the top, it's on the bottom. So what I did is I took a crowbar, put it on the back of the frame, and kind of pushed out on the back of the clip, and then hooked it on the sides and pulled it out. Now with this, you want to be careful. I actually loosened the other side, and this is kind of just like this tube fits, like this bolt can rotate around this tube, so you actually don't even have to loosen this. You can actually just twist it. Just be careful, because it, you'll bend this up and then you could possibly break this. But on the other side I had a real mess. But one other thing is, this is not round. See, there's a flat spot. So when you get this off, you have to put it on backwards and then rotate it. So put it on backwards and then rotate it, and then bolt it back up. But now the problem is, since the flat side, since that flat side right there, well, now it's on the opposite side of this, so you can't use that clip. But this won't fall out. It's very secure once this is bolted up, and I'll show you. I actually did get the clip on here somewhat. It's not all the way back, but I don't think it's going to go all the way back, but that's really secure. It's not going anywhere. But after doing this, I'm probably going to end up just buying extended brake lines, just because I don't know, I just don't like rolling around like that. After doing the brake line twist thing, you're going to want to take the top bolt off of the shock absorber. That's 7/8 inch, and then I just use an adjustable wrench right there. And then after that, we're going to remove that bolt, and then we're going to drop the jack down and hopefully lower the axle enough to get the spring out. After you've dropped the axle down, you still need to get in between the springs here, and there's an 18mm bolt down here, and turns out you do have to take these off after all. The wheel speed sensors, 10mm bolt, I believe. Nope, it's not. It's probably a 9mm. So there's the difference in the height of the springs, and the new ones are definitely a lot heavier, for sure. So hopefully they fit into this and fit up into there, okay, without too much of a hassle. When you're lowering your jack to make room for the height of the new spring, make sure that this isn't stretching out too far. I was putting a lot of pressure on that, forgot to loosen that thing up. These just pop open. This is for the wheel speed sensor there, so be mindful of that. Jack lower, or the axle lowered and the old springs out, it's pretty easy. All you got to do is on this kit you reuse the little rubber bushings up here. They kind of thread into it, and then there's only one way that can go in, so pretty easy there. Same thing, it threads into this. Make sure you tighten down that bolt, 18mm. Resecure your breaker line bracket, resecure your resecure your wheel speed sensors here, thread the bolt into the bottom of the shock, and then as you raise, you want to guide this up into the hole, obviously, and then make sure you got the bushings and the metal retainer, little cups there, and then just make sure everything's tightened up, and then put the wheels back on and you should be done.